Welcome back to the Jake Asman Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
Nothing in my career has ever come easy. And no surprise, this isn't going to be easy either. Now, I've always said, I'm going to go until the wheels come off. And they finally have fallen off. Due to an injury last year, I'll be making my official announcement of my retirement from football. It was a hard decision, but the right decision for me and my family. And I'm honored and so proud to be retiring a Patriot.
Well, you heard from the man himself, Julian Edelman. He announced yesterday his retirement. Originally, it came out that he failed a physical and they released him. And then when you heard that, you're like, oh, congrats to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on signing Julian Edelman to a one-year contract. But nope, due to the knee injury you heard Edelman talk about, he is retiring from football. And I hate that the topic of Julian Edelman is not, let's talk about how great of a career this guy had, from a former quarterback at Kent State to a 7th-round draft pick to a guy that made $50+ million in his NFL career. I hate that the conversation is not that. But the conversation is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? That's the conversation. That's all anyone wants to talk about. And I hate that I got to bury Julian Edelman here because he's a fellow member of the tribe. I have much respect for the player he is, for what he did on the field. But I'm sorry, Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Famer. Period. Done. I mean, if we're really going to debate this, fine. I have the receipts to back it up. Julian Edelman's been suspended more times than he's ever made the Pro Bowl. Let's start there. Julian Edelman has more PED suspensions than he does Pro Bowls. You can't put a Hall of Fame guy into Canton that's never made the Pro Bowl. Julian Edelman's an all-time Patriot. 3-time Super Bowl champ. I was at the Super Bowl against the Rams where he was the MVP of the game. He's one of the best playoff performers in the history of the NFL. But I'm sorry. That doesn't mean you're a Hall of Famer. What you do in the regular season matters. And Julian Edelman retired with fewer career receiving yards than Dwayne Bowe, Nate Washington, Brandon Cooks, and Jeremy Maclin. Edelman retires with less career receptions than Michael Crabtree, less career touchdowns than Pierre Garçon. Julian Edelman was a very, very good player. An important player in a dynasty in New England. But he was never the best of his era. He was never a guy you looked at and said, yup, that guy's the best player on the field. That's what a Hall of Famer is. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Very Good player. In the playoffs, if he did what he did in the playoffs in the regular season, the guy would go no question. But he has 620 career receptions. That's 75th all time. That's not a Hall of Famer in an era where numbers are up all around the league. He's 156th all time in receiving yards. That's not a Hall of Famer. The guy only scored 36 touchdowns in his career. Hines Ward is more of a Hall of Famer than Julian Edelman is. Hines Ward has 85 career touchdowns to Julian Edelman's 36. They have the same number of Super Bowl MVPs, and Hines Ward went to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Once again, Julian Edelman never went to a Pro Bowl. How's he in the Hall of Fame? How are you putting him there? Stop it. Stop making the Edelman conversation more than it has to be. The guy is a great story. He was a phenomenal player. He is a Patriot Hall of Famer. His number should be retired at Gillette Stadium. But he's not a Hall of Famer. What are we doing? I'm the first guy to talk about what you do in the playoffs matters in your career. But you also have to put the production up in the regular season, and it's just not there to be a Hall of Famer. The guy only had 1,000 yards in a season 3 times. He's not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. He's a phenomenal player, a great story. But once again, if Reggie Wayne's not in the Hall of Fame or Torrey Holt's not in the Hall of Fame and Hines Ward hasn't even been a finalist yet for the Hall of Fame, he can't even make it to the final ballot in 5 years on that ballot. Then how are we putting Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame? It's a silly argument. And it's really just unfair to Edelman. He retires. He should be celebrated for having a great career. I shouldn't have to come on the air and basically be like, what's the matter with you people? How do you think this guy's going to the Hall of Fame? He's not. If he did what he did in the playoffs in the regular season, it'd be a different conversation. But he didn't. If you want like an analogy on like Julian Edelman's like Derek Fisher. Like the most important non-Hall of Famer on a championship team. Like you're talking about Derek Fisher on those Lakers teams, and you're like, they maybe don't win those titles without him. Same could be said for Edelman. The catches he made in the Super Bowl and the 28-3 comeback, you know, what he did in the Rams Super Bowl where he's the MVP of the game. The guy is a phenomenal playoff receiver. You know, big game performer, winning player. He's Paul O'Neill. If you want a baseball player to compare him to. But Paul O'Neill at least did it more times in the regular season than Edelman did in comparison. I mean, I'm sorry. Hines Ward has 1,000 career catches. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Edelman's got 620. Career receiving yards. Hines Ward's got 12,000. Edelman's got almost 7,000. Hines Ward almost has double the amount of total receiving yards. And Hines Ward's been to 4 Pro Bowls. Julian Edelman's been to 0. PED suspensions. Julian Edelman's got 1. He's got no Pro Bowl appearances. How are we putting that guy in the Hall of Fame? Tell me how. What's the argument? Oh, he's great in the playoffs? That's enough to get you in? That's it? I love Julian Edelman as a player, man. The guy is everything you want in a football player. He could throw. He could dominate on special teams as he did at the beginning of his career as a returner. Guy's a winner. But you can't put that guy in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. You can't do it. I mean, it's repetitive here, but I need to emphasize this. He's not a Hall of Fame player. Hall of Very Good, yes. But until you put Reggie Wayne in and Hines Ward in and all these other guys that have way better statistical numbers than Edelman, you can't put that guy in. Great player. Very handsome guy. Not a Hall of Fame. There's a difference. Hall of Very Good poster child writes in Obi. Obi, you're absolutely right. Coming up next, we'll talk to a Patriots insider about what they will do in the draft, and hopefully he doesn't think Edelman's a Hall of Famer. Alex Barth from the Sports Hub in Boston joins us next here on the Jake Asman Show.
Jay Farner